Hello people! Today we are going to do a set of Valentine nails that I'm calling Barbie Does Valentines because they're very pink. I'll be starting off with some medium length oval tips that I've prepped already, and we're going to be using Beetles polish today. This color, the colors I'm using for this came from their mermaid collection that was out like last spring, summer-ish. So I know a lot of y'all probably have that one. It seemed like everybody was getting it, as I saw numerous videos of designs done with those colors. Anyway, moving on, we're putting a coat of this on this pink. I call it Pepto-Bismol Pink because that's what it looks like to me. And that's been cured for a minute or 60 seconds, and now I'm going in with the second coat. Now I have sped this section up with the different polishes and whatnot, so we don't need to spend extra time watching how that goes on. You all know how to polish, I'm sure. And the last pinky. And pop those in to cure, and when they're out, now I'm going to go over them with this other, it's a ultra fine glitter polish. I guess you could call it glitter. It's sparkly, that's all I know, it's sparkly, and it was pretty. So I wanted to use it. It doesn't show up that great on camera, but it really did make a difference in person to see them. And you can sort of kind of see the difference. Whoops, sorry, bumped the camera there. But we're just going to do one coat of this over top of the other stuff. And then I will give those a cure for 60 seconds. Boop, and now we're moving on to putting on these cutout hearts, glitter hearts. Now in there you could, and some regular little glittery hearts. You couldn't see in that first tray, but the little inside portion of the heart that was cut out is also in there, which I'll be using those little teeny tiny hearts too. I'm going to put a layer of base coat on here. Eventually. And then I'm going to pick up whatever hearts I'm going to use. I'm going to use the cutout ones on this one. And I will just pop those on there how I want them to go. Now, as you can kind of see, the little roundy edges on some parts of it are sticking out. I tried to move them around in a way that the bulk of it was going to be flat against there. But when you're dealing with the big glitter pieces like that, it's hard to get them all to lay flat. And now I'm digging around till I find the little tiny cutout hearts from the centers of those, which I will pop on. They were kind of hard to find in there because they all wanted to be at the bottom. So every time I dumped more in the tray, I was just getting the big ones out. And once I get those, I will get those to be arranged the way I want them to be facing and everything. So I'm just going to play around a little bit here and move stuff around slightly. And once I'm done playing around with this, that will go in for a cure. And then I'll be ready to move on to the pinky, which is also, we're going to just do the same thing but with the solid hearts this time. Starting with base coat. While I'm doing that, I got some sort of exciting news. It's exciting for me. My website is getting revamped entirely by my daughter, who's doing it for me, which I'm very excited about. And also she's going to be designing me a new logo. So stay tuned for that pretty soon. Hopefully here pretty soon in the next couple weeks it should be up. She's trying to squeeze me in between doing all her normal stuff that she has to do, which is a lot. So I'm really grateful for that. I did have my website through Shopify, but after a whole year of being with them, I did not get one order through those guys, and it was costing me like $40 a month. So I had to cut them loose because I was spending a fortune on that and not getting any return. So since I built my website through there, it had to be completely rebuilt. And I'm very grateful that she's doing that because it would have taken me months to redo it all from scratch myself. Yeah, we're just going on here now with, oh God, there's the top of my head with my crazy hair shooting out everywhere. Sorry. I'm going back with the tiny hearts and the solid hearts on this, and I'm just going to arrange them how I want them. You can kind of see some of the edges sticking up on the bigger hearts. We're going to take care of that in a bit here. Okay, and that has been cured. And now I'm going to move on to the thumb, where I'm going to do a glitter fade. So I will be going in with base coat for that. And I'm going to use this chunky glitter mix. It's like a lavender mix, but it's kind of a pinky purple, so I think it went pretty well with this set. And I'm also going to use this light pink iridescent glitter. Both of these glitters came from AliExpress, in case anybody's wondering. Along with those hearts, they also came from there. And I'm just going to use an old squiddy brush that I had laying around to get my glitter on here. And we'll just pat it on there in kind of a more at the top, and we're going to fade down as we go. Now, one thing I did forget to do on these was once I got the glitter on there, I usually take my finger and kind of pat it down gently to make sure it's all flat. I did forget to do that, so I had a little more filing to do than I probably would have otherwise, but easily remedied. Just another step to deal with, that's all. Okay, now putting that lighter pink glitter on, you can't really see it that well. It did make a difference, but on camera it doesn't show up that well. I'm just going to put that on however I want. And that one is done. That's going in to cure. And I'm going to do the same thing on the middle finger. And back to the glitter mix. I tried to get at least one of those bigger pieces of that chunky glitter on each nail that I put this on. Just because it's there and I wanted to use it. This is another case of me trying to start using some of the tons of nail art stuff that I have accumulated. Actually, those hearts that I put on the other two nails, I had bought those last year, like right around Valentines. So I've had to wait a whole year before I could be using them. Well, I guess I could have done them on something else, but I bought them for Valentine's stuff. And as I wasn't doing tutorials at that time, and I came late to the deal with getting Valentine's sets done for my website. This year I'll be doing a few different ones just so I can accumulate some for my site. And there's a little piece of glitter on the end that I didn't want down there, and so we had to clean that off, but that's done and cured. Now I'm going to go back in with some Builder in a Bottle, and in an effort to encapsulate those and not have to use them. Now, I thought this would be a faster, easier way to deal with this. Turns out it did help a lot, but turns out you could also do this with a layer of base coat again, and then top coat, a couple layers of top coat, which is what I have been doing lately, but I thought I'd give the Builder another shot. The last time I used this Builder gel, it just wasn't curing right, and half of it was wiping off when I was cleaning the tacky layer off. So this time I did a thinner layer, and it did kind of help, but I am going to go back in with top coat over that again. Aside from encapsulating that glitter, it will help bulk up the nails a little bit and make them a little sturdier so they're not flimsy. I'm going to hang that upside down for a little bit here so it will run towards the middle. And now that has been cured, and I'm going in with a no lint-free wipe and alcohol and cleaning that tacky layer off. I think I'm just going to show you me doing one of these just so you know that's the step that has to be in there. I don't use this very often because, like I said, the last time I had issues with it not curing for some reason. But, okay, I'm going to show you two, and then that's it. I've also learned, too, to do no more than like 2 nails per wipe, and then I have to get another wipe and you start with the other one. Because otherwise it just gets the tacky layer gel stuff all over the wipe, and then you're just spreading it around. Okay, now I've cleaned all of the rest of those off. And now I'm going in with a generous layer of no wipe top coat. Actually, this is a tempered top coat. And I still don't, oh, there's the requisite hair. I still don't know the difference between a tempered top coat and a regular no wipe top coat. They seem the same to me, both of them, you know, cure with no tacky layer, so I really don't see the difference. But I went in here with 2 coats of this top coat. I'm only going to show you the one, and we're not putting any on that ring finger because, well, A, we don't need to encapsulate anything on there, and B, it's going to be a matte top coat later. So we'll let that run towards the middle. Okay, now I have checked and I've still got some little sticking up bits on here. So I'm going to just show you one nail where I'm filing. I'm just going to go over it and clean off anything that's sticking up. So I will file and buff all the nails that I've just encapsulated, but I'm only going to show you the one here because, you know, you don't need to watch me do that for it. That takes a while. And I have sped this up so it's going a little faster speed than what I normally would do. Okay, now I have done that. Now I'm going to go in with the final top coat layer. And this one is just going to be a regular layer. It's not going to be extra thick. Now that we've got them nice and smooth, and then I'm going to use a matte top coat on the ring finger, because on that one we're going to put the crystals, and I think it looks better on the matte. Alright, now I'm going to make bows. I've got one of my acrylic molds, and I'm using the same pink that I used for the base of the nails. Now you can see that mold is kind of sweaty and dirty looking. I had bought these molds, I don't know, a year or so ago off Amazon. They were supposed to be silicone like the rest of the ones I have, but I don't think they are. I think they're just some kind of rubber, because I tried to use it with acrylic, which is what they're for, and it would not come out. It just was stuck on there and it would not come out. I ended up having to soak it in acetone, and even then I couldn't get all the stuff off. That's why I was making red bows or black bows or something. That's why it's all yucky looking over there. But I'm going to just put this polish in here. I'm going to smooth it out so it gets neatly up against the edges. Try not to go over the outside of the edge, which I believe on this one I did. So I will have to cut off the excess later. I'm just going to a little bit more to top it off because it was a little bit not quite enough in there. And then I will pop that in the lamp as soon as I smooth it out. It's going to go in the lamp just as it is, like that, for 90 seconds. And then you will see me take it out and flip it over later. And while that is in there curing, I am going to, what am I going to do here? I guess I started on this one next. Okay, there's the one. I had already done that one in the first run because I was testing it. I wasn't sure it was going to come out of that mold, so I wanted to try it out. So that's the one I started with. And I don't know. Oh, I know what I was doing. There was a little tiny piece of glitter that got cured into the edge of it, and I was trying to get it off, and it just wasn't coming off. But I am probably fishing around in my drawer for my gem glue. Yep, there it is. I'm really liking this gem glue brand. It was inexpensive. I got two of those together. Two of those pots for fairly cheap off Amazon. And it works really well. Rarely do I ever have any gems come off. We're going to put a blob of this on there and just kind of a line. And then I will put the bow on. And I'm still fiddling with that piece of glitter. Eventually I'm going to pop the bow on there. any day now. Okay, well, okay, now see, I've taken that out, flipped it over, so it's face down, and now I'm putting it in for another 90 seconds. Now we go back to this one. Maybe. Oh, for Pete's sake. Just get it on there, woman. Okay, here we go, finally. Right, I'm going to squish that down. I'm going to straighten it out, and then I am going to hold the edges down in an effort to get that to stay stuck down along the edges to there. It kind of was when I put it in to cure, but they popped up again while they were in the lamp. So I had that issue on both of them. So what I'm going to end up doing is gluing the edges down in a bit. But here's the one we did, and I'm going to work. You know, they're still really hard to get out of here with the gel polish too, but eventually I did get it out. When I used the acrylic ones on here before, I mean, they just would not let loose and come out. I had to pry them out in little bits and keep breaking them up. I mean, the first one of these came out fairly easy. Now this one's giving me a little trouble. I was trying to be careful because I didn't want to break it. There we go, I think. Okay, now see how there's a little overage on this one? I didn't notice that when I was putting it in there, but now that it's on there, I'm going to have to take my nail scissors and try and trim that off. If I had an X-Acto knife, this would be the perfect use for it, to trim those edges off. I keep meaning to get one, but haven't gotten around to it yet. And now I'm looking for my scissors. Okay. See, this is why my little nail scissors are so dull, because I'm always using them for stuff they're not really intended for. Okay, I'm just going to trim off any of the excess bits that are on there. There was a tiny little bit on this edge. Okay, I think that's all of it. And then we will go ahead and pop this on just like the other one. And once again, I'm going to try to hold these down. I should have learned after the first one that they weren't going to stay down, but gotta try it. I thought if I could get it in there to cure really quickly after I pushed them down that they would stay that way, but they actually did not. And I'm going to try it one more time before I throw it in the curing lamp. Alright, in it goes. Now looking at this one, you can see how the edges of it are popping up a bit still. So what I am going to do is get my nail glue out. And I'm fishing around, okay. I usually use Mia Secret nail glue. And I will just get it, see how that edge is sticking up under there? I'm just going to shove some glue up underneath there on both sides. And then I will hold it down for a minute while it dries. Of course, you can't see me doing anything. Okay, I've put both sides on. Now I'm just going to hang on to it for a minute or so. And let's see. And still up a little. Needs to hold it down a little more. Okay, there, it's dried and the edges are down nicely. Okay, now that sucker's not coming off. Okay, moving on to the crystals. I've got a dark pink and a light pink that I nearly just spilled. And I'm going to do kind of a squiggly swooshy thing on here. Now as I'm doing this, okay, I'm just applying my swoosh with the gem glue. As I was doing this, and I put one big crystal in the middle and then the rest were the medium and smalls, it has an odd shaped swoosh to it. I wasn't really crazy about, but in hindsight I think I should have gone with two big crystals in the center and then the other ones, because it looked kind of odd with just the one. But once it was on there and cured, it was on there, and that's the way it's going to be. I didn't want to start all over again. But right in the center, I'm going to go with a dark one, a big one. And now I will just alternate either side. Next will be the light on both sides, and then the dark, and I will just alternate my way down the line of glue, getting smaller as I go out towards the end. This is pretty much my standard way of doing these swooshy things. Sometimes they come out nice, sometimes not so much. I think I'm going to have to start finding some different crystal placement ideas, because I'm kind of getting tired of doing the same ones all the time. And now I need a little tiny dot of glue on the end because I ran out on my line. And there's my crazy hair again. Okay, once I'm done messing around with that, I'm not curing it yet. Now you could cure it if you want to, but I like to do it all in one thing unless I've got clear sections and stuff. I'm kind of deciding if I'm liking that or not. I guess I decided just to go for it. See, I wasn't happy with the way the swoosh was looking, but it is what it is. And then I'm going to get my trusty silver caviar beads, and we're going to put those in between all those crystals. Now, firstly, I didn't have any glue squooshing out on this hardly, so I'm going to have to go in and put glue in between each one. See, nothing wanted to stick, so we're just going to put a little dab of glue where we want all of those caviar beads. It occurs to me now as I'm watching this, I have pink caviar beads. That might have been the way to go for this. Oh well. And now that we've got the glue on, we're going to go on and get these caviar beads in there. Now I decided at this point to go with this other method that I occasionally use. I'm going to take a little bit of top coat. This is the no white or the tempered top coat, the gloss. Excuse me. And I'm going to mix some caviar beads into that. Now this will give the caviar beads a coating of top coat, so it will help their silver finish stay on longer, because sometimes it wears off. And also it'll be easier for me to pick them up and they'll stick on there where I want them to stay better. Sometimes I do it like this, sometimes I don't. It depends on what I'm doing with them. If I have a whole lot of them, I like to do it this way. Also, if I'm doing like caviar beads like in a design by themselves, like as opposed to putting them on one by one on crystals, like if I had a whole line of caviar beads that I wanted to be a smooth line, I'll often do it like this with the top coat mix in there. Now I did speed this section up a little, so otherwise you would have been here forever watching me get these on here. I'm really trying to keep my videos short. But at the same time, I like to be very thorough. If somebody's trying to recreate this and they are not real experienced, I want to make sure they get all the steps in there. Well, that one was just being a real pill to pick up. And to get off of there again. We're almost done. Once I get them on here, I'll just make sure that they're all shoved in between those crystals the way I want them. In case I need to do any adjustments. And if I'm happy, I'll throw that in the lamp to cure. And that has been done. I've done the other rack of stuff. Now I'm going in with a final layer of matte top on this one just to cover up any of the little shiny glue that might be on there that has squished out or has gotten on there. We're just going to butt it up against here carefully, not getting any of it on the crystals or the caviar beads. And once I get that cured, I get that on there, I will give it a cure. And there they are finished. If you liked what you saw, please give me a like. And if you want to see more, subscribe. I put out one new video a week usually, occasionally more. Thank you very much for watching.